Are you shirtless under that?
I am. You, you're giving me a lot of credit for just shirtless. You don't want me to stand up in this thing. You think this is a costume? This is just this. It's just how much is there.
This is just Wednesday.
Yeah, how culturally inappropriate of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 323. I am your host, Reid Murphy, here on another wonderful Ricks vs. Gricks Thursday. That's right. It is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Oh, spooky.
Spooky.
Ooh, he's got the goodies.
Ooh, he's got all the goodies. Luis Martinez, the Big Chief Burrito, is here. Of course, he just heard him rattling candy. Are you a leave out the bowl kind of guy? Or are you like you happy to hand out candy to folks?
I'm happy to hand out candy to folks. I do, since I'm a busy guy, I got all kinds of shit going on usually on Halloween. I am a leave out the bowl type of guy as well. But we don't live in a live out the bowl type of world anymore, unfortunately. So if I leave out the bowl, I'm sorry, because the first kid's going to take it all.
Travis.
Yeah. Speaking of who?
Guilty.
Travis Byram, Mr. B himself, is here as our guest picker, our celebrity guest picker for Ricks vs. Gricks this week, and to get into plenty of Halloween goodness. Travis, are you excited for spooky season this year?
I'm ready, man. It's been a long 30 days.
I believe it. We're going to have to dive into your past 30 days. That has been a moment. Also here tonight, as always, the host of the 323's College Shame Day, and a very sorrowful wizard, Scott Ellia. Scott, with the season of the witch, let's call it that, the season of the witch. Once Halloween's over, are you an immediately jump into Christmas? I know your thoughts on Christmas music, but there's a variety of Christmas music that you like. You've introduced it to us on this show. Santa Claus is a black man, of course. And are you,
for those who don't know that song, go Google that.
Are you throwing Christmas music on almost immediately, or should the Mariah Carey bells start jingling, or do you need to wait till after Thanksgiving?
No, so childless Scott despises everything Christmas music, Christmas decorations. I don't really care that much about it. But having the children it's almost Grinch-esque. My heart has grown 3 sizes too large now for Christmas. I am super excited this year. I told them the next weekend that they're with me, we are putting up the Christmas tree in November, and we're leaving it up all year long.
Aw, look at that. So, go ahead, Daddy.
I still don't like Christmas music.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Well, look.
Unless Santa Claus is a black man, or Wham. Wham's a bop.
Last Christmas always goes hard. I always like the Last Christmas challenge, Whamageddon, where you see how deep into the holiday season you can get without hearing Last Christmas. But it's also a miserable challenge. Why wouldn't you want to hear that song every single day?
Right.
Oh, but we're not worried about that right now, because this is Halloween. This is Halloween. We have a lot to get into. Every time I say Halloween, I want you to say spooky like that, Scott. Just like almost like live fanfare. Travis Byram is here because he has been on a 30-day horror purge. Can you tell us about this, Travis?
Yes.
How much sleep have you gotten?
Not much. I was up at 3:30 this morning. I couldn't go back to bed, and I was like, I got 3 more movies to go to get in the goal. Might as well finish it up. So every year there's something on Letterboxd called Hooptober, and I don't partake in that. That's very specific criteria, but I just do my own thing where I go through my Letterboxd, and I just, all the criteria is it has to have it as a horror movie. That's all I need, as long as it has it there, because horror is very, debatable. What's horror? What's thriller? So if Letterboxd says it's horror, I agree with it. And then I see what's on streaming, and then I pick 31 movies.
How fulfilling has it been to get through this?
It's been really good, man. It's really good to like actually like just hold the gas down and like burn through your watch list. You know, I'll usually hold off on watching some horror movies in anticipation for October because I am a mailman and my time is consumed so much. I don't have time to frolic in the pumpkin patch. Um, I don't have time to do what I, usually did. So coming home exhausted and watching a horror movie, I can still do that for spooky season. So it's been a lifesaver as we're entering the peak season of the post office.
Were you a big horror person before this challenge, or was this something that you forced yourself into?
Yeah, I've been doing it for the past 4 years. The first year I got in 9. So, and then I just worked my way up to it. So in 2022, I did it. Last year was way too busy. And now I'm single. So now I have time again.
Oh, the joys of single life.
So it's nice, man. It's nice. Yeah, I've always been a horror fan. I like scaring myself. I like giving myself over to the process. I think it's fun. It's an agreement you make with the movie, I think.
That's fair. That's fair. Lovely, lovely. Well, look, I want to get into a night of top 5 horror. Okay? So we are not only going to get your review from this month with your top 5 horror movies, and I'll let you dictate the list whether you want it to be the top 5 horror movies from this month or your top 5 of all time. However you curate it is whatever we'll go with. After that, we're going to get Luis Martinez. He's he's been the resident horror guy on here, especially with shout out Art the Clown. Art the Clown's getting the views and the comments there on the YouTube. Of course, 323 Network on YouTube. You go check that out. He's going to give you the top 5 horror icons. After that, shout out Dwayne Wade. I'm going to give you the top 5 scariest sports statues of all time. Then we're going to get Luis's fantasy starts and sits. Of course, Rick's versus Grix picks. But we can't do any of this without the right imaging, the right epic music. That's right. This is a 323 top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the 323's top 5.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
I missed that beat. The Halloween spooky music was fine on the last one, but damn it, this is Rick. This is top 5. You can't not have the sick ass beat drop on here.
Yeah.
So it's time for the top 5 horror movies, according to Travis, in however fashion he wants to do. So Travis, take it away.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So I interpreted your prompt as the top 5 movies, the top 5 horror movies that I have seen for this spooky season. So these are the only qualification. Like I said, Letterboxd has to call it a horror movie, and I've never seen it before. So with that, it's just a bunch of random movies. I won't go through all of that. I will do some brief, just a couple quick honorable mentions. The original Little Shop of Horrors from 1960. Hilarious. It was filmed in 2 days. It looks like it was filmed in 1. Very funny, very camp, especially if you're fans of the musical. I really enjoyed it. And then another one I would say that didn't quite make the list was Bong Joon-ho's The Host.
Good movie. Really good movie.
Yeah, but a bit of a sci-fi twist on it. Not super scary, but definitely scary in what happens.
More of a monster movie.
Yes. When one of your loved ones goes. So, didn't quite make the list. So for number 5, I've got Luca Guadagnino. Whenever I say his name, I say it like that. Bones and All.
Really good.
Yes, it's the Timothée Chalamet, and I can't think
Sounds
of
like
it.
a porno.
That's next year. I'm watching that version next year.
Top 5 horror porn
30
parodies.
days.
Bone and All. This is a cannibal love story, and I have never seen something like it. And it takes its time. It really earns its 2-hour runtime. It's genuinely romantic. I struggle with Timothée Chalamet sometimes. Sometimes I really like his acting, and sometimes, I don't know. I think he's coasting on those chiseled features. Or maybe I'm just jealous. But it was very involving. Definitely the saddest horror movie I've seen all month.
Believable as a cannibal.
Yeah. Yeah. And number 4, I've got the 1931 version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Old school.
Old school. Yeah, this is the oldest one that I've got on here. I caught it on TCM back in June, and I waited to watch it. And it's pre-code, and it goes really hard. He's really intense. Very actually scary. Frederick March, who won an Oscar for this performance. He kind of looks like the Wolfman in this, and it's genuinely upsetting the things he does. The camera's moving all around. It's crazy for 1931. I would watch it. It's super brief. I would watch it just for the novelty of it. And number 3, the biggest surprise of this month, Christmas Evil.
Christmas Evil.
Oh my God, Christmas Evil, or You Better Watch Out. And I don't know which title I like the best, but it is less of a horror movie and more like Taxi Driver. It is your kind of classic mid-70s loner against society kind of a flick. There's only a couple of deaths. It's barely a horror movie. It's more of a middle finger against capitalism, if anything. And it's this, kind of serial killer who becomes so angered by people's greed with the holidays that he starts killing his coworkers who work at the toy factory with him. It's so good. I couldn't believe it. I just was looking for a campy Santa Claus serial killer, and I got like a Travis Bickle prototype. It was fantastic.
I like it. Christmas Evil. Crossover season.
Number 2, Pinky's Up. We're going to France. Climax.
Tell me
That's
more.
another. That's another. Yeah, it is. It's the movie. It didn't scare me so much as it really almost brought on a panic attack. It's very plotless. I think the script was literally 5 pages. 60-70% of it is this insane choreography. And then they start drinking this punch and realize that someone spiked it with LSD. And it just gets crazier from there. It is so interesting. A good commentary on like mob mentality. Everyone's sexy and French. And it was a little scary. I liked it a lot.
Shout out Emily in Paris. Halloween special.
Shout out Timothée Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Google.
Careful Googling Climax.
Listen, on Mi Gente show, they did a thing where I had to pick a guy to, and it was Timothée Chalamet who won. He can get it.
I get it.
I get it. I understand it. That's a
Very
good.
gentle, very gentle face.
That's a good topic that we should cross that one over here one day. One day.
Top 5 guys you'd.
Top 5 guys you'd Chalamet. Yeah.
Oh, Chalamet. And number 1, we're all going to the World's Fair.
Oh no, you're fine. You got the laugh, buddy. You got the fanfare.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, we're all going to the World's Fair. It is the only similar thing that I could compare it to was Bo Burnham's 8th Grade. It is such a damning look at how isolated we've all become over internet culture. again, it's not super scary, but it's so creepy. This girl kind of signs up online for this horror role-playing game. Kind of reminds me of like the Momo Challenge. I don't remember the Momo Challenge with the scary thing with the big beak.
I weirdly remember that.
You remember that?
Yes.
And it was like, it was like some performance art piece, but it was getting shared around, and it was like, don't let your kids visit Momo. She's gonna eat them or something like that. It was circulating around high school, and it was kind of similar to that. And she meets this guy who may be who he says he is, or he may be something else. It's slow paced. It's got like a 5.5 on IMDb. It's despicable. I just loved it. It was creepy. It immersed me, and yeah, it's streaming on Max. If anyone wants to watch it tomorrow for the big night.
Excellent list there, Travis Byram. Okay, I like it. You brought Momo back into my life, and that's a little bit of a strike.
That's next year's costume.
God damn, I forgot about Momo. Speaking of somebody you can get immersed in and find the horror in, it's not Momo, but we do have Zuzu. Welcome, Zuhair Ali of the Animation Deliberation Podcast.
Momo truly struck fear into the hearts of Gotham.
You have to keep this voice on the rest of the night. You know like it's the same with Scott. Every time we say Halloween, he has to do live fanfare.
Spooky.
Oh, how are you doing,
Hello,
Zoo?
I'm doing good, protecting the streets, but happy to be here to make my picks for the week.
Do you think do you think like the Batmobile is basically just a souped up Tesla Cybertruck? I've seen
my
these
Batmobile is a base Mazda, so I cannot speak for the others of the multiverse.
Fucking Mazda Batman. Oh my!
Hey, at least you got a car. I got a broom.
Luis has Diddy
This
yachts.
is a magnificent ride.
Ever taken a split into the ass? No.
Ever
one of
taken a
those
battering to the ass?
You want to? Oh my god. Well, that's one top 5 list on Travis's horror review. Big Chief Burrito here. He's been in a coma, but he's still he knows the horror icons. He knows where to go. He doesn't need anything from the last few months. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. He's ready for it. Luis, hit us with your top 5 horror icons. It's one of the biggest things with Halloween. Like you got all the different horror icon costumes roaming around. Ghostface, the various different variations of the mask and all. Michael Myers is always a huge one. Freddy Krueger is always some way overwhelmingly try hard ass at a bar's Halloween party night doing full fucking 4-hour makeup on a Freddy Krueger costume. Who do you have?
Where do you guys stand on sexy girl outfits versus like girls who actually Halloween it up? You have a preference?
I think it because usually it seems like most of these places always have like a night for that, right? Like they have like the sexy costume night and then the like full costume contest night, like the next night. Jay's downtown in Fredericksburg always kind of does that, but I remember one year this one girl came as sexy Predator, and she had like the Predator mask and like a little like a bikini kind of Predator costume and like a tail and stuff, and she made it into like the top 3 on the costume because it was fan voting.
Zoo was like wood.
See, that's the thing. It's like
depends which half is sexy.
It was more wood.
It's like the I can appreciate the sexy women costumes, but for what they're worth. But there's something about when like they go out of the box and it's like a weird costume. I would think I would prefer that someone who actually tries and puts some effort into it rather than just showing up with as minimal clothes on as possible. But I can still appreciate it. I'm still a man.
Look, I'm a Star Wars, so I went full meme this year. Obviously, I love the 30 Days of Halloween. I love kind of going back every Halloween and looking at movies that I might have missed. I go more towards the disturbing films. Like I always bring up, like, listen, you want to watch a real scary movie, watch the French version of Martyrs, and then try to get to sleep that night. That'll leave you not wanting to exist any longer. But when we talk about horror icons, you got to break down what the main things that make a horror icon are, in my opinion. And we have, I think, our top 4 categories, which are straight psychos, deranged killers, supernatural forces, and animals. So we're gonna stop with I'm gonna give you my honorable mention in those categories. Some of these you would think would be on my top 5, but I've got to have a criteria going for these top 5, so I'm gonna give you my honorable mentions. Under animals, we have 2. We have Bruce, the Jaws shark, because his name was Bruce, and we got Cujo. These are 2 animals that haunted me in my youth. One of them was the reason I didn't jump into a swimming pool at night from the ages of like 7 to 15. The other one is reason I didn't have dogs early on until I decided they weren't that scary. But Cujo and Bruce are my honorable mention under animals. Go ahead, Scott.
And now your fears at adult.
I've got a question really quick. So now that I learned that Bruce is the name of the Jaws shark, Bruce was also the name of the shark in Finding Nemo. Does that make the Jaws now part of the Disney Cinematic Universe?
Easter egg. Yeah.
Whoa! What a breakthrough!
Did you guys hear the horrible Easter egg about the fact that it was actually Nemo's mom that ate the rest of her children and not the barracuda?
Oh.
Yeah. Look that shit up. Look that shit up and share it with your kids.
So when Bruce switched to not eating fish because they are friends, not food, is that why he went to the adults, the participants of Jaws?
He must have.
That had to be it.
Big if true.
Nemo's mom killed.
True if big.
Yeah. Google that. All right, so then we've got to move on to supernatural. These are killers, half man, half entity, or people that just can't be killed. You can put Art the Clown in that area because he seems to be a supernatural force. Others receiving votes in this category for me was Candyman and Jason Voorhees. And the reason Jason Voorhees is not in my top 5 is too diluted, too many movies. You know, there's a little bit too much of you. If you're a horror icon, I want a little bit. I want you to leave me leaving more. And 9 or 10 movies and a bunch of different reboots and all this shit and all this other stuff kind of doesn't make that for me. Then we got to go into your deranged killers. And these are just kind of straight, more people that just love to kill. And, you know, they're good at it. And our honorable mentions there are going to be 2 who, and listen, these might have a subcategory and roles that people won Oscars for. But my first 2 are Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes from Misery.
That's a good one.
And Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. When you win an Oscar for portraying a deranged killer like this, you know, they're automatically in that short list of horror icons. The other 2 that I thought were kind of good in this category would be Leatherface and Jigsaw. Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, really close, really a last cut here. And Jigsaw just suffers from being kind of newer. And again, a little dilution of the product. Once they started like backtracking and doing a lot of things like that, it sort of diluted Jigsaw. Plus, he's an old, sick guy. So he's not as scary when you really get to know the guy. I want to be a little scared of you, you know, not of just the guy. And then in the last category, we have straight psychos. And these would be also just crazy killers that kill because of the fun of killing. I guess you could kind of combine them with deranged killers, but somehow I split them up. And in this category, our honorable mentions are Norman Bates, the original Psycho, and Michael Myers.
Oh.
And again, there's a lot of him around, variations, reboots, and stuff like that, and just dilutes me. Which brings us to our top 5 horror icons. And for this, I want iconic kills. I want longevity, but not too much dilution of the product. And I want something that can generally scare the fuck out of you at any given point. All right, so my number 5 top horror icon is Pinhead. What's
Who you
fucking
calling
scarier
Pinhead?
than a guy with fucking pins all over his head that can summon the portal to hell, and also can sort of be like a look at a fucking after-hours goth club, you know? So, yeah, nothing scarier than a goth kid with needles in their face. I'm sorry. That's number 5. For me, number 4, Ghostface. Scream franchise, simple, easy costume, is a bit of a play on a lot of other horror tropes, is meta. He's kind of like the Ryan, what's the Ryan? The Deadpool of the horror universe, kind of in a way. Kind of self-reverent and scary as fuck. And killing people with a knife is, old school. You got to admire that. So we're going to go with Ghostface for number 4. Number 3, because we needed a clown, right? Number 3 is Pennywise. Again, only a couple of movies, but a scary looking motherfucker, a horror icon through and through. Can hang in a picture anytime there's a group shot of all the major fucking players out there. Who do they throw in there? Pennywise. Only a couple of movies. Kills kids, that's scary. Eats them, makes people float. He's probably dealing a little fentanyl on the side. But again, scary, iconic. You got to have a clown in the top 5 list. Number 2, and man, it's getting to be sweater weather. And you know who wears a sweater better than anybody? Freddy motherfucking Krueger.
Oh, yeah.
The best time to wear a striped sweater is every time.
Wearing his best fucking Bill Cosby sweater. This guy makes fun of you in your face while he's murdering you. Fucking comes out of bathtubs and chops up chicks' crotches. He does the whole thing, man. Listen, he's had a couple of crossover movies, but he's an iconic fucking look, an iconic face. And he gets the number 2 spot.
And he also had a Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff song written about him. Nightmare on My Street. Deep cuts.
For the culture.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue, the podcast from 7 Octobers that was on your show.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. All right, and then the last, and listen, additional honorable mentions to the classics, the Swamp Thing, the Creature from Blue Lagoon, Frankenstein, Wolfman. But there's only one guy. There's only one guy who's been iconic for going on 100 years, who was part of probably the first horror movie, Nosferatu, who's been in comedies, who's been in TV shows, who's had good movies made about him, bad movies made about him, Twilight. Probably one of the scariest goddamn things there is, somebody who sucks your blood. I pull the strings. Dracula is number 1.
Oh.
And those are my top 5 horror icons for 2024.
Excellent list. Scott thought he was getting on there with that sucking, but it didn't quite get him there. Oh, damn it. Well, you brought up clowns before we get to Scott's top 5. Scott now also has a top 5. He's going to take it over from me because I have top 5 scariest sports statues. We're going to make that a visual add-in somewhere else because it doesn't want to present right now. So Scott's going to take it over with the top 5. What was it? Top 5 children's movie villains?
Scariest children's movie villains.
That's a fantastic one. I do have top 5 clowns now that you brought it up with Pennywise. He is a true one. Number 5, Art the Clown. Because he gets us those views. Shout out Art. Number 4, Ronald McDonald. Number 3, what's the fucker's name? Bozo. Number 2, Pennywise. And number 1, Mike McCarthy.
Ooh.
Shout out Cowboys. Scott, take it over.
All right. As a father, there are certain movies that resonate more with me now, raising 2 little girls, watching movies and seeing these villains on the screen through their eyes and having flashbacks to my own childhood. Coming at number 5, I think I'm dying. Oh, it's Voldemort getting me. Nope. Fuck that guy.
She called?
No. Number 5, we're gonna go with the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. You know, green skin, iconic pointy hat, cackling laugh. I think everyone, when they were a child, when they watched The Wizard of Oz for the very first time, it was kind of unsettling seeing that. They're coming in at number 4. Give me The Other Mother from Coraline. That is a movie that we still haven't made it through in this house because the girls are thoroughly creeped out from that movie. So maybe one day we can get through it. Coming in at number 3, Hexus from Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest.
I don't know.
Voiced by Tim Curry. You know, Tim Curry's made 2 lists tonight, so congrats to him. That's awesome.
No, that's a good point. Luis, is your Pennywise the Tim Curry? Would you go the Tim Curry one or the Bill Skarsgård?
Always go Tim Curry one.
Okay, perfect.
Coming in at number 2, from my favorite superhero film of all time, Mrs. Trunchbull from Matilda. And if you tell me Matilda isn't a superhero, then we're going to have some words. Then, coming in at number 1, and it's only so fitting, I'm dressed up as down and out on his luck Harry Potter. Coming in at number 1 is Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Because that scene still sits with me to this day of him just turning into a toon with his red eyes and his voice just gets all wacky. And it's still the movie I feel that has the number 1 saddest scene across all films is when he dipped the shoe in the vat of acid.
That's a good one. That was a good impromptu list. Go ahead, man.
You want to know who did? You notice who didn't make that list? Voldemort.
Voldemort did not make the. He's not that scary.
No, he's a little punk.
He's a punk.
He's just a little. You know, let's break this down. You know, Voldemort, or should I say Tom Riddle? Seriously, I mean, the name alone doesn't evoke any kind of fear at that point. It's like he's trying to be the ultimate bad guy by hiding behind his Muggle roots from back in the day. And the Horcruxes. I mean, what kind of genius thinks of breaking up his soul into pieces and then hiding him in random objects is a solid plan? A diary. I mean, that just screams, "Hey, destroy me to kill me." And then he has an obsession with snakes. I mean, cool, you can talk to him, but like, his sidekick is a 20-foot snake named Nagini. I mean, if that's not compensating for something,
are you trying?
I mean, I don't know what it is.
How about his nose?
No, he's just a sad bully with a potato hairstyle and no friends. And he lost to a baby, me, because of friendship. Fuck you, Voldemort.